Before we start, I want to say this. If you're a beauty professional or service-based business owner who's doing all the right things, but still feels like your income depends on how much you physically show up and how many hours you can squeeze into your schedule, I built my new program for you. Limitless is for the woman who wants to earn more without adding more hours, who needs clearer strategy and the energy and identity shifts that actually move the needle in your business. It is a space where you're not doing this alone and where you can ask me questions anytime. I work super closely with you inside this container alongside a like-minded community of business owners who are serious about their growth as well, but also about life. So if you're ready to grow and want support doing it properly, book a call with me. The link is in the show notes for you. Now let's get into today's episode. Hello, you gorgeous human you. Welcome back to another episode. I am super buzzed to get into this one today. I want to have a super important conversation. And as you know, especially if you've been here for a while, I am all about raising the bar and raising the standard inside of the beauty industry. I want this to be expansive. Like, I want you to listen to this and think about it in an expansive way. Open your mind to the ideas that I'm probably going to bring to you. So this is really like for the people that attend events or, you know, the event organizers in this industry. Like if you're a smaller solo entrepreneur who is thinking about doing your own event, which is becoming rife at the moment in the industry, this is for you. And people that are like being asked to speak at these events and deliver trainings or deliver skill set workshops, social media advice workshops, because this is what's going on. Or education, you know, people in education that are asked to go along. Because you know what? First of all, you all play a massive part in the industry in like uplifting it and how it operates and the standards and all the rest of it. And I feel like with the current standard of events, they're getting amazing. People are creating really gorgeous, really aesthetic. Like it's the new bougie thing to do. I feel like I got off a call with a lady the other day who had just done her second event, and it was like fucking gorgeous. You know, like these events are just stunning, and we're talking more about business, we're talking more about mindset, we're talking about more about growth these days, and alongside like the beauty industry and skill and all the rest of it. And I just feel like it's such a good thing to be doing, but we can also elevate it as well, because we used to, that's a cool sentence. We used to go to the trade shows and it was all very much like that. And nowadays it's becoming these smaller, intimate group settings that are just beautiful and look amazing on Instagram. And I think things are getting a little bit crossed with that as well. And the main focus point becomes what it looks like rather than business. And so that's what's made me do this episode, because I have been asked, and I have done events, and I've done paid and I've done free. Recently, I have been asked by, I think there's about 3 events, 2 this year so far and 1 late last year, who, you know, by people that wanted me to speak at events and train people for free. And that has been normalized, okay? I'm totally aware that has been normalized. It's been all about collaboration-based events, collaboration-based speaking opportunities for the exposure, to be able to get your name out there, you know, for these kind of like smaller events and this informal kind of structure and stuff. And I'm not saying that it's wrong or anything. I'm just saying that this has been normalized to ask people to do things for free. And don't get it twisted. Like, I have done things for free, especially in the early stages of me building my coaching career, of me going into network marketing. I did a lot of speaking, a lot of training, a lot of events for free. And I mean, there were when there was probably a good year of shitloads of free training that could have exponentially grown your business just inside the beauty build. Right? Even this podcast, I do it for free. And that is because I have a passion, I have a love for the industry, etc., etc. But with events growing, I feel like this is such an important conversation to have, because it is hugely growing. People are, you know, in this industry just for a matter of years, like 1 or 2 years, and then they want to hold an event. Cool. Like, I love it for you, because communities are growing. People want to get their name out there. And most people are going to say yes to doing something for free at some point. But Obviously, there comes a point where you don't do things for free anymore. That is where I've been for the last couple of years. So unfortunately, I've had to turn down 2 or 3 people in the last, say, 6 months or 9 months, because there was no budget to pay for the speakers that were going to be invited to this event. So I feel like if you're an organizer, how bloody exciting. If you want to, if you're the type of person that is building an event right now, I love that. I bloody love that, because they are beautiful for everybody. And bringing people together is something that is needed so much, like more than ever at the moment. There are so many people doing this alone, so many people that want that connection and also the growth. And making that accessible to people face to face is fucking gold. Like, we get so stuck behind our phones, we get so stuck behind computers, we get so stuck behind our chairs with our clients, and feel tied to just one treatment room, for example. And sometimes we don't see anyone. It's ridiculous. So in-person stuff is absolutely needed more than ever. So I'm talking to you, if you're at this point of the podcast, I'm talking to you if you're creating an event now, or if you ever want to in the future. So these events, they take up a lot of energy, right? If you are creating your own event, they take a lot of energy, and they take a lot of investment, because you've got to hire a space. If you want to make it look bougie, you've got to decorate it. You've got to get all of your bits that you want to give to the people that arrive. You've got the planning, you've got the time, you've got all of this stuff that it takes, time and money, okay? So what I invite you to think about is how you can make this very good for, and positive and helpful and supportive and growth focused for you and your business. That is what I invite you to think about, because I got off a call the other day with a lady who'd just finished her second event and it wasn't profitable. And she was like, that wasn't the point. And I was like, that is the point. Like, of course it's the point. And unfortunately, because there's no profit in that and there's no budget, and that's why speakers are being asked to do these things for free, and it's becoming normalized. Like at the moment as well, we're seeing a lot of people in the industry moaning online about how brands take the piss and ask them to create content for free, right? Now there's 2 different sides of this. There's the UGC stuff, where you are creating content for a brand with budget, and generally speaking there is always budget for that and you're being paid. Then there's the side of it where it is collaboration based, and you are trying to grow your name and the relationship, and they're trying to grow as well, and there isn't. And sometimes the payback for that is free product. So that's a completely different topic I could talk to you about until I'm blue in the face another day, with loads of nuances. But with events, like, people, like I say, it's been normalized. And if you are new to the industry, there is an element of doing it for free. There really is. There's some goodness in that, and I'll get onto that. But if you're the organizer, think about, like, what experience are you creating for the guests that are coming? What level of professionalism, should we call it? Like, what level of experience are you wanting your event to sort of like be at? What do you want people to say about it? If a high level speaker is part of that experience, then it is paid for. And so it's like, there has to be budget for that. And then there has to be, the ticketed cost of the event. You can't be scared about it. Like, I know so many of you probably think, well, this is my first event, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to keep it cheap, going to keep it accessible. But the thing is, we need to start normalizing that these things are actually worthwhile, worth our time, worth our money, worth our investment. By the way, if you can hear traffic and God knows what in the background, we're still not moved back into our house, and my office is still not my office. So it's like, if you want that premium sort of vibe, if you want that premium conversation to be happening in the room, if you want premium people in there, energy, and the result to be fucking amazing, then the structure of the event has to support that. And, we value people's expertise properly. And when you do that, it's going to have a ripple effect. It's going to have a massive ripple effect. The people in the room are going to be like, whoa, she knows her stuff. Don't get me wrong, new people that are starting to work on identity, mindset pieces, things like that, or do want collaboration, they can still deliver a bloody good piece like I did when I was working for free in these spaces. But it's just a case of, at the moment, I'm just talking to the organisers, and it's like, if you are wanting premium events like that, do your due diligence, find out who would align really well, find out their experience level, find out the rates, find out stuff like that, rather than just going in and being like, hey, like, I love your vibe, blah, blah, blah. Would you be willing to collaborate on this event? And then as soon as somebody asks you about like whether we could be, like, it has to be based on the alignment of the speaker fee, it kind of closes down the conversation if you don't have any budget, if there's no kind of movement for that, and it's just like, okay, cool, done. So maybe like doing due diligence first and finding out people's level of experience of speaking and delivering trainings would be very, very, very good. But yeah, so does that make sense? I think it does. And I just think an event like that, you should actually be thinking about the profit involved for you, okay, as the organizer. But moving on to like the speakers, and this is really where I fall in at the moment. I haven't held an event of my own. I mean, in network marketing, I did a lot of events in my beauty business. When I had my beauty business and my network marketing, I combined them and I did gorgeous events. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But since coaching, my realm of this is more of helping people arrange their own, because obviously I'm helping them with their business. I help people decide which events to go to each year, because if they are ticketed, that has to come into your budget as an attendee. And I help people decide how much to charge for speaking as well, because obviously I have been and am still a sort of speaker or, collaborator on these things. I still do go into people's spaces and deliver masterclasses and or trainings or Q&As, or get on stage and speak at events. So that's cool. So for those of you that are looking to go into speaking or education, and you're asked to do like a skill set workshop, or you are a coach and you're getting up on stage, or it doesn't have to be a stage, but maybe you're getting in front of the room to deliver some coaching. It's like, what stage are you at? What makes you want to say yes? What makes you want to say yes to the opportunity? Is it more important for you to get paid right now? Or is it more important for you to get the visibility right now? When I first started, it was about building my confidence. Okay, so I built my confidence through network marketing. I held a lot of events. I trained the teams. I did the Zoom calls. I did the live events, in-person stuff. I did all of that. And it's like, that really built my confidence with talking in public, getting up in front of a room, hosting my own events as well, online, offline, face-to-face, etc., etc. When I went into the coaching space, again, building confidence, but building visibility now. I was building more visibility with this. So at the beginning, when I was asked to do things like training in somebody else's space, I would do it for free. If I was asked to speak on stage, I would do that. In fact, I didn't do that for free. I've been paid for that, but it was a smaller amount than I would expect now to get up on stage in front of hundreds of people. When I was asked to go into, in fact, a lot of the training and stuff I did online as well was also my own, and that was for free. And it builds your visibility. But a lot of collaborations, even in publications and things like that, and like contributions to different pieces, you do for free at first if you're building that visibility. It's like, what stage are you really in? Are you in that visibility stage where you need to boost your visibility? Do you need the confidence? Have you only just done this? Like, is it your first time? Is it your second time? And are you wanting to help the industry and stuff like that? Basically, is it aligned? And this is what I go through with people that I help in my spaces, my private clients and my Limitless ladies. This is the thing I always ask. Is this aligned to your end goal? Or is it, just something nice to do? Is it intentional, right? Because the version of you that holds the next level version of your business, you've got to grow into that person. Does this support that growth? Does this actually feel like you're being that person? Because if it does, that's fucking great. That's great. That's the energy that you want to be in. That's the standard you want to uphold. That's what you want to go for. And you can tweak prices as you get more experience. But what will happen is what you allow, right, and what you think you're worth and what you go for is going to set the standard. Yeah. So every time you say yes to doing something for free, you're reinforcing that standard of the level that you're at the moment. And so it also sets that standard for the industry and for the event organizer. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's always a space to have the conversation around any fees involved or travel expenses covered or something covered at least, because it's raising that bar and raising that standard across the industry, like across the whole thing. Yeah. Because like I said in the previous part about, you know, towards the organisers, there should be some level of budget. Like there should be something so that we can give to the people that contribute, and so that the people attending can have a ticketed payment to pay to attend, to get the value that they get. It's all about the value perception. But likewise, there's the nuances in there. If it's like, it's not about just saying no just because you're not being paid. It really is about that alignment. You know, with me, for example, now, it doesn't align to me to take time away from my children for even a day. And a lot of the time these events are on weekends. So my babies aren't at school and it's not as easy just to get away. And so for me, I'm like, absolutely need to be paid, right? I need to be compensated for my time. It needs to be really aligned. The audience needs to be perfectly matched to who I want to speak to and who I want to get in front of. The question is always asked, like, can I advertise? Can I sell on the back of it? Can I give something out? Can I, you know, point people towards programs or whatever? And so it really is that intentional. It really is that, like, you know, protecting your energy, making sure that you're upholding your own personal boundaries and standards, and elevating the whole industry and raising the bar and the standards across the board. Because that's the type of thing that just muddles everything. And this is where I end up helping people all the time decide which events to go to throughout the year. And this is just the attendees, right? Let's move on. Like, I've addressed you guys. If you're thinking about organising an event, there should be profit, bottom line. And with the speakers, I've addressed you guys as well. There's a lot to think about, and alignment is the main thing. But again, saying that, you know, so much value in doing things for less or for free, if it aligns. So when it comes to like the standard being raised, this is where it has that ripple effect down to the people attending the event, right? And we don't really, I don't hear this being spoken about. Maybe it's my algorithm, but I don't see this being spoken about. So it's kind of like when you are attending an event, because there are so many these days. Like I said, it's like the new cool bougie thing to do in the industry, and it's really fun and it looks great on Instagram and everybody loves that kind of aesthetic. Cool. But like, what do you want to invest in this year? You know, it comes down to budget. I have so many clients that are like, oh, I'm going to invest in this course, this thing. I'm going to this event, that event, blah, blah, blah. I've got to get a hotel for this. I've got to travel for that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do we really know the ins and outs of the finances? Because the number one key thing in business here is to know your finances, know your numbers. I was on the call with somebody yesterday who I said, what do you make every year? She's like, I don't know. Oh my God, that's the bare minimum, you know? So God knows what she spends on travel, on, you know, tickets, on places to go, get a new outfit. I mean, we spend more than we make in this industry, a hell of a lot, and that's such a sad thing to hear. I know it is, but you know what? Because there are so many solo entrepreneurs out there in such a saturated market, so many of you are too scared to charge high prices. So many of you are too scared to not spend out on the newest thing. And so you do. It's just a fact, and I hate it. Anyway, moving on, because let's not put that out into the universe. The point I'm trying to make is, what are you wanting to invest in this year? It all comes back down to alignment. What kind of space do you want to be in? Do you want to be in the spaces where, and this is not to knock anyone, it doesn't mean I'm a bad person for saying this, but do you want to be in the spaces where you know that those people aren't being paid on the stage? Sounds terrible. I'm not a bad person for saying that. I'm just saying it how it is. Like, can you look at that and go, that is where I'm at actually, because I've just started my business and I just want to be in the room with a few people that like are helping each other out. Cool. There is a space for it. I'm not saying there's not. I'm asking a question. So before you get your back up, I'm saying, is that what you want to invest in or not? Do you want to be in spaces where there are fucking great people in the industry but have been around for like 10 plus years, you know, huge people, and I don't put myself in that category, by the way, and they're being paid thousands to be there? Is that where you want to invest? Is that what you're ready for as an attendee? Cool. Do you know what? There's a space for you too. And it's just like feeling into that difference between the type of events you really need to go to. Does it serve your end goal? Does it align with the business this year? Is it in the budget for events this year? Do you even have a budget for events? Probably not. And this is what I help people with, right? Because it really is like the nitty gritty. It does come down to it. It does have a difference to your bottom line. And this is like how seriously we get when we work together. This is how seriously it can get. You know, you want to build with this intention. You want to build a business that supports your life. You want to raise your own standards and therefore attract that. When you put yourself in rooms, or if you raise your own standards and put yourself into places that other people are raising their standards and the industry standards, everything grows. You attract more of that. And that is just the best. Like, it's the best feeling when you value those high level spaces, you know. And I'm not saying high, but I'm saying like the next step for you. If you always think about operating from your next level version of you to hold that next level of your business, you're naturally going to start stepping into those spaces that are just a step ahead of you, and it gets bigger and sort of like more and more and more. And that's cool. Like, that's what you actually want, rather than like filling your diary with small events that you go to every year. You know, are you getting anything from them as such? So yeah, I hope this episode is making sense. It's not just about events and, you know, me being approached to speak and saying no because you're not paying me or anything like that. It's kind of the same as like underpricing your services, the value that people see in this industry. It's the overgiving that goes on in this industry. You know, when that comes to creating content for brands, when it comes to overgiving to our clients and policies, it's all of that, right? We overwork, we overgive, we underprice, and all of this is the same type of conversation. It is just in a different format this time. I'm delivering it to you talking about events, and I don't think I've done that on this podcast as of yet. And because it has been brought to my attention quite a bit, and I've been asked quite a few times to do this now, I'm thinking, let's just like unpack it a little bit on a podcast. I think it's so useful. Let me know, please, as well. Like, reach out to me on socials, tag me in your stories with this one, take a screenshot and all that, and let me know your thoughts on it, please, because I see it, and maybe it's my algorithm, but I see it everywhere. I see people creating these gorgeous little events everywhere to help people grow, and I think it's amazing. I really do. But alongside everything that I teach and that I stand for, I also think it should be done at a top tier standard. Do you know what I mean? But we've been taught we've been molded to give more than we get back in this industry. And actually, you do want to receive. You want to be open to receiving. You want to build an identity that is attracting more and abundance and money and intentional growth and opportunity. And that's more sustainable. And that's what gives you freedom. And that's what gives you more leverage. And that's what gives you more life. Absolutely, like nail on the head. This type of thing is what gives you more life, because you want time off, you want freedom, you want spaciousness in your diary, you want to be able to do the things you actually love with the people that you love, rather than actually just live to work, you know. So I would love to see more speakers being paid, more people reaching out with budget, more profit in these things, more events being a little bit higher ticket, you know, a bit more intention, a bit more, you know, accountability as well, and people that are invested. And really, that is expansive, you know, like I said. So yeah, isn't that like powerful? Is it just me? Am I the only one getting the tingles? Like, I love that stuff. I think that higher standards really just elevate like the entire experience for everybody. You know, like I said, the event organizers, the speakers, the attendees, everything. And you know, you can do this together. It's raising the standard, and starting with yourself, like not just waiting for this to happen around you. You have to start with yourself. You have to decide to be the change that you want to see. And that is why I will stand strong. And I always say, like, I wish somebody all the best with their events. And I'm like, oh my God, it sounds so gorgeous and so beautiful. And I wish I could go. But if there's no budget, unfortunately, like, it doesn't align at the moment. I have to be really intentional with time and energy that I spend, blah, blah, blah. But I love, obviously, of course, like I love the person that's creating that, because I think it is so, so, so needed. But we raise it by every time I say no, I'm raising the standard in the industry. And, you know, not just my own, but everybody's, right? Like, I'm raising that kind of level of expectancy as well. So yeah, if you are someone who is doing an event or attending an event or speaking at an event, I hope this has really helped you, and I hope this allows you to think about pricing, the positioning of it, the standards, and exactly who you are going to work with when you do it. I'll leave it there, and I will see you on the next one.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.